Good morning, everyone. This is Nicole. I'm back with another video. I know you've seen this image before, but it is going to be used to describe another issue that has been talked about recently in the media, referring to Sinclair Media and how Sinclair requires anchors to read a script. And I did the video recently, so this is the search on YouTube for Sinclair saying that people in newscasting need to stick to a script. We already have known this for many, many years, and especially when black people are killed, lynched, meaning that they are murdered without trial, murdered without any kind of justification, murdered when they are unarmed, and there's always a script. Oh, well, he shouldn't have been out at that time of night. Oh, she shouldn't have resisted arrest. Oh, they shouldn't have talked back. You know, we can go down the laundry list of excuses they give to the people who kill us. But one thing I remembered seeing in the comment section of this video, if you go to my channel, you'll see the title is Tips on Public Speaking. I'm kind of nervous, y'all, and I went through the presentation. It went well. I've moved on now. I'm still working on manuscript and a lot of other follow-up from that meeting. But I remember one person leaving a comment here, Shaka38, shout out to him for leaving this comment. I know it's pretty long, so I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but he mentioned in the 5th paragraph here, the first sentence, the most important thing is to know your audience. And he had that in all caps, know your audience. How does this relate to the Sinclair script reading requirements that they have of journalists? Well, they know their audience is not as knowledgeable about a lot of things that occur in the world, and their ignorance sometimes puts them in the position to Sinclair in the position to be more likely to provide them with false news, fake news. And the scripts that they're reading are identical to one another, from one newscasting location to another, from one newsroom to another across the country. So I also saw the Advise Show discuss this. Phil from the Advise Show discussed this as well. Let me type that in. And he has a short video about it here. I just watched. It came out 2 days ago, so I will post that link in the description box. You'll see that below. And let me take off his name, or the name of his show, to go back to the others. And there's also one here from CNN. So I'll post the link to the Advise Show, and then on his video you will see the link for CNN, or you can just type in what I have at the top, Sinclair script for stations, search that, and you should get this first video from CNN. There's one from USA Today, and so forth. So I'm going to play this video and let you see. Hold on a minute. Turn my phone around. Okay. I'm going to let you see what I'm talking about. How they know their audience. They know they have an ignorant audience. And they know who they're talking to, and they know how to talk to them. So here we go.
There's a lot of of attention around Sinclair Broadcasting and its conservative bent. This is a company that owns stations all across the country. And last month I reported that the company was mandating its local stations to produce these media-bashing promos. There's been a lot of angst in local newsrooms about this. Now we're actually seeing the promos. So I want to show you what they look like. This is a compilation courtesy of Deadspin that's gone viral this weekend. Just a little taste of what these promos look like.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish things simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I think you get the idea there, what's going on. All these anchors and all these markets are required to read this script. It's attacking fake news, but really what it's doing, it's kind of like the Fox Fair and Balanced slogan. It's a way of saying, we're fair, everybody else is biased. It's taking a page out of Trump's playbook. And I've been talking to staffers in markets, David, that say they're sickened by this, they're uncomfortable with it. Quote, my staff is up in arms about this. Zerwick, you're in Baltimore. Sinclair's based right up the road. What's your impression?
Brian, I've been reporting this story, as you know, since last summer, and my first concern was when they hired Boris Epstein from the Trump White House and made him the chief political analyst, made him a political analyst, and stations were dictated to carry his, what I think of as talking points almost out of the Trump White House. There's a lot of pushback. Look, I think reporters and anchors, especially when you centralize a message, and this is what's important, Brian, if you are centralizing a political message to however many, more than 200 stations, I think it'll be if they get the FCC approval for this, to 200 stations, you have one of the great political messaging machines in the world. And especially, it's the local people, the people you see at the supermarket in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or your hometown in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, who are delivering these messages. They're not people from New York or Washington who you can dismiss. Much more powerful. I think Sinclair has the potential for that, and I think in some ways people react to that when they see this. Look, this thing by Deadspin is a really clever piece of editing, but it powerfully states what people have been saying about the danger of centralized messaging if a broadcaster decides it wants to send out political messages that way.
Okay, I'm gonna let that continue. Okay, so the autoplay is paused because I've turned it into wide frame. So wait one moment, let me turn my phone around. But yeah, so Deadspin has this, like you said, very clever editing that they've done. There are thousands of comments below that talk about this clip from CNN. And let me cancel that. Where they're bashing fake news. And like I said earlier, when I look at it, when you look at different things, no matter what the subject matter may be, it doesn't really, it's not important what the subject is. In order to have a healthy dialogue about it, you have to be able to pull from previous experience. And not only from that, you need to start analyzing what you're seeing and make predictions on what could happen in the future. What do I mean by that? One thing that's important to note in history was Joseph Goebbels' use of propaganda during the rise of the Nazi state in Germany. And they were attempting and were successful, almost, I would say about 80% successful, in perpetuating an ethno-state within the country of Germany by taking over settlements and territories around the country of Germany. Belgium was involved, Poland involved in this, involved in being taken over, at least financially, perhaps also, from what I've read, territorial areas taken during the rise of the Nazi regime. At the pinnacle of the Nazi regime, the propaganda war had done its job for the most part, at least within Europe. So it's important to be able to look back at history and see what has occurred and follow up on what you see right now as to make predictions. And I predict that if this continues, where you have a private company, corporation, such as Sinclair, and Sinclair does more than media. Sinclair also dibbles and dabbles in petroleum as well. Out here in South Bay, there are gas stations that say Sinclair. There's one on Normandy and Rosecrans. There's a Starbucks across the street from this Sinclair gas station. It has, their logo is a brontosaurus, white background, I believe green lettering, and there are several Sinclairs around. Now, how that connects with the media, it's money. These are corporations, so they are established to secure their bottom line, which is to make money. And if they can make money at the local level by changing the narrative and changing how journalists in the local areas are bringing news to citizens in small towns and smaller cities, they will do so. And it's a dangerous thing to continue to perpetuate certain news stories in a way that puts another group of people who are less desirable in a negative light. So I wanted to just bring this as an opportunity not only to show you that the media is not on your side all the time. There is a machine working. People have been saying this for years, that there's a machine working behind the scenes of the media. My father spoke about this when we were younger. I didn't understand it at the time. But I guess being, having military experience, and he saw things a little differently, and he still sees things differently than we do as civilians. But, he mentioned once that the same news they had on NBC, I think with Tom Brokaw or Ted Koppel, prime time, the same news they talked about there, where they negatively spoke about Saddam Hussein, or they negatively spoke about some leaders in Egypt and Iraq and other areas like Iran. It was the same news they were perpetuating in those countries, just in their languages. Even the newscasters in those countries at the time, they even wore their hair and their outfits, their suits, similar to the way Tom Brokaw and Ted Koppel and what's the other guy's name that died? He was on PBS NewsHour, I forget his name, but there was the other guy on the Sunday morning Face the Nation or something like that. But all these guys, they would be overseas, and they would have the same type of attitude, the same air when they spoke about certain things. They weren't reporting on local news as much. They were reporting on whatever American news, Western news was reporting on. And they still do similar things like that today to frame the narrative in their favor. So there's another, I think the original video from Deadspin, I think it's here, so I'm going to play that. Let me pause it real quick. I'm going to turn my phone one more time, and that'll be the end of this video. Let Let me play it.
Hi,
So once this video finishes, that'll be the end of the video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos or go live. For those of you who are returning to my channel, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Please remember, yes, I do read comments. This is another way to show you that I do read people's comments. Sometimes you'll see comments disappear. Don't worry about that. I'm doing that. I'm dealing with a lot of trolls and other issues on the channel. For what reason, I don't know. I don't have that much exposure, I don't think. But someone's watching, and I'll continue to deal with the trolls how I choose. Like I said earlier in another video, if you respond to a troll, I will block you as well. So please stay vigilant, stay diligent, and I'm going to shut up now and let this video play. I'll try not to laugh.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trending irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Yeah, so there you go. I'll let you guys have a laugh at this. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.